my God, I know I was one. Well, my mama was a tailor, and she sewed my new blue jeans. And my daddy was a gambling man, way on down in New Orleans. Now the only thing that a gambler needs is a suitcase and a trunk. And the only time that he is satisfied is when he's on a drunk. Tell your children not to do what I've done. Don't go and spend your life in sin and misery in the house of the rising sun. Well, I got one foot on the platform. I got the other foot on that train, and I am going back to New Orleans. I wanna wear that ball and chain. They call the rising sun, and it's been the ruin of many a poor boy. And my God, I know I was one.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, fellow decoders around the world we go. Welcome out to another episode of Late Night Tarot. All you night owls. What time were you born? Do you think that has any significance to how you roll yourself out in this reality? I was born at 1:03 a.m. And as long as I can remember, I've been somebody who I like the night better. It kind of goes against the grain of the norm because most people get busy with it when the sun comes up. And, you hear a lot of people talk about that is the rhythm you should be in along with the sun. But not everybody agrees with that. Like if you're a night owl, why is that? And again, the nighttime to me is more peaceful. It's not as busy. There's not as many noises, quieter, less static. The internet seems to work better, less people on it. We're at you where you're at in the world. So I think these have some perks to it. And then we just kind of developed this show, Late Night Astro-Tarot. My bedtime is normally 3, 4 in the morning. So, I'm just getting warmed up. I'm decoding. And I just thought, because it's a new moon, it's December 1st, and the new moon is in Ophiuchus, I thought this would be a real prime time to come on here and talk about the Late Night Astro-Tarot. So if you're new here, what we do is we're going to go through all of the 13 zodiac signs. We're using sidereal. We're not using tropical. To me, why am I using sidereal? Well, I look at astrology like dials of a watch. If you open up the back of a watch, you're going to see gears in there. And I feel that sidereal is the master wheel. And tropical is a wheel that fits underneath sidereal. Now, I know some of you favor tropical. I'm not here to take that away from you. Use whatever system you want to use. As for me and many others, I'm all about precision. And when you study the sidereal, the master astrological wheel, I feel like that will give you the true essence of what the code's all about. All right, so this is what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be utilizing... Let me just turn down my volume just a tad bit here. We're going to be utilizing the Mastering the Zodiac. So let me just go to the chart here. And this is kind of the format that I use when I do readings. Not everything, but this right here is the chart of the appointed time. I have this pegged at 11:03 p.m. in Mexico where I'm at. Now, I'm not going to pay attention to the houses because this has already changed. This is going to change every minute. What we're going to be paying attention to are the locations of these celestials, what zodiac sign they're in. And I've developed a system where I have keywords on the outside to tell you what these hotels, I like to reference these as hotels, what these things are giving off as far as energy is concerned. For example, the house of Leo, right? Ruled by Helios. Well, this is the sun that wants to manifest. So the 5th house of astrology is the house of manifestations. It's the house of sex. What do you do when you have sex? You could possibly get somebody pregnant and you can manifest a baby, right? So children can be here as well. Absolutely. So this is what the keywords are for. Today's card for December 1st is the 4 diamonds card. And this card, of course, now, this is kind of how you roll it up with the new moon. Now, what does a new moon mean? Well, it's not giving off any of its own light. You can see that the sun and the moon are right next to one another. They're conjunct. And this is why I feel the moon does not give off any of its own light. The sun provides that. So when the sun is on top of the moon looks like this. And, if you're somebody who, like I was born on a new moon, if you're born on a new moon, you're the person who is the seed planter. You're the person that you would call into a think tank and say, what kind of ideas you got? So this is a beautiful moon because the moon is in the sign of Ophiuchus, which is kind of a hierarchy of Scorpio. And you got the sun there as well. You got Mercury, the messenger, and you even have Pallas. You have the asteroid Pallas here, which is tied to Athena and the way you think. So this quadruple energy here is massive in the area of what I call power, because that's the 8th house, and this is the containment of that power. Ophiuchus, the serpent bearer, the hierarchy of Scorpio, and Scorpio itself. So the 4 of diamonds is the card for December 1st. And this kind of starts off the new moon. This, if you're a diamond suit card, if your ego card, if your birthday card is a diamond, then your primary base fundamental is I want. And the 4 is security, right? The 4 is home. The 4 is the cube. So it represents security, financial security. So it might just be, and we'll have to take a look at what astrology card we're going to pull to focus on, but the name of the game for this moon cycle is about financial security, right? And take it how it resonates. Obviously, and I have to say this is for educational purposes, entertainment purposes. I know this is going to resonate for the majority of you here. It just depends on how you observe this. And we're going to go all the way around this thing, and we're going to take a look at what it means. I have the tarot cards here because the Strength card primarily is tied to this house of power. The Strength card is the sun and being able to control the power of the sun. 19 is the sun card. The 8th card is Strength. The 19 is the 8th prime number. The Strength card sits in this house right here, in this zodiac cluster right here. And the Strength card, of course, is being able to control your sex drive. Strength, being able to control your mojo. Scorpio is well known to be the sex zodiac sign, ruled by Pluto, the underworld, Prometheus. And you have Mars there as well, through the customary aspects. Mars is your testosterone, your sex drive. And then we also have the sign of the Hermit here. The Hermit also being tied to Ophiuchus because it dips into Sagittarius, which is the house of wisdom. So there's a lot of energy right now for this new moon that's tied to receiving power through your higher mind, your philosophies and your theologies and your whatever it is that you do. Okay? So this is what we have. And what's interesting is, Zeus, the ruler of the 9th house, is right across the way from this house of power in the sign of Taurus, which kind of goes in line with this 4 of diamonds here to start this thing off as a light background of I want security. So if you're somebody who follows this energy right now, well, the new moon is a time to think about, okay, if you want security, what kind of new ideas can you come up with to ensure that you're going to be able to grasp that security? And this is all about power. This is knowledge. So you need to take the knowledge and move it into something tangible with the 4 of diamonds. Okay? And, Mars is in the sign of Cancer right now. This is the 4 of diamonds is the sign of Cancer. So there is perhaps, for some of you, there is going to be a focus on I want security during this moon cycle. If you follow the moon cycles to a T, the sidereal moon cycle is 27.3 days. It is not 28. It is 27.3. 13 and 27.3. 27 days, which is tied to golden currency. So obviously there's a focus for some of you on your home life, establishing a home life, wanting a secure home life. Mars is your testosterone. So it's the desire, the drive, your mojo. And Mars is the co-ruler of Scorpio and the power up here. So we're going to have to take a look to see what kind of cards we're going to pull for this late night Astro-Tarot. And then I'll get into some questions perhaps at the very tail end. Okay? So, without further ado, let's start off with Aries. Okay? I'm going to shuffle these cards. I've already done it 100 times, but let's do it a few more times here. Now remember, Aries is ruled by Mars. Aries is the magician card in the tarot, and the magician's calling for the sun's energy. So the sun can be Mars-like, it can be masculine-like, it can have drive and testosterone just like we can. Hang on, I dropped the card. Okay. Now I've also included, because I came out with this not too long ago, I came out with all these hotels. Now, again, I like to look at astrology through not the houses of the astrology signs, the hotels. What would a hotel lobby look like if you walked into it and it was representing the zodiac sign of Aries? Well, it's red, it's fire, it's identity, it's leadership, it's drive, it's I want this, I want that. And again, Mars right now is in the sign of Aries. Cancer, excuse me. Mars is in the sign of Cancer. So even though Mars is the ruler of your desires and Aries is completely bare, we still can look and observe and see Mars being in the hotel of Cancer, which is home and family. So for some of you, there will be financial security that you're going to want to lock down in your home life. It could be a home business that you want to lock down. Okay? So let's take a look at what card is for the sign of Aries. Let me just write all these down so I have reference. Give me 1 second here. Okay. All right, so we're just going to tap the fingers over the cards. I'm just going to pick something from the deck here without looking. So Aries, the energy for Aries is the Queen of Cups. This is card number 48. This is tied to Prometheus. This is the card of NASA. The founding date, July 29th, that's NASA, that's this card. Why does NASA have the Queen of Dreams? Because NASA tries to get you to believe in their dreams. So, those of you that have a lot of Aries energy, and even if you don't, remember, you're looking at all the houses of the zodiac. You are all 13 houses or 13 signs. If somebody says, hey, what's your sign? What's your zodiac sign? I'm all of them. Because if I pull your chart up, there's all the houses and all the signs. So you're going to play out through this no matter what. And right now, the name of the game for Aries, which is your drive, like, what do you want in life? I want a new dream. You need to be dreaming big. And we're on a new moon, and the new moon indicates a new idea. So this fits Aries right now to a T. The Queen of Dreams. The Queen of Dreams for Aries. So, Queen of Cups. Okay. Let's move on to Taurus. Taurus. Remember, Jupiter, Zeus is in Taurus right now. And Jupiter expands wherever it's at. Taurus is your house of money. Now, could it be that the inflation around the world is being caused by Jupiter's influence in the sign of Taurus? Jupiter expands, Taurus is money. There's a good possibility that hyperinflation is a result of Jupiter being in Taurus right now. And, you know, we have Uranus there as well, the grandfather, the OG of everything. But let's take a look at what Taurian energy. Now, remember, Taurus, your second house is your house of possessions. It's your house of money. If we go to the chart and we take a look right here, the house of Taurus, it's your possessions. House number 2 is your house of money. You move from singularity to duality. And we have Zeus, who's going to expand this arena, and his grandfather, Uranus, the primordial. And this is why cryptocurrency is coming into play right here, because Uranus is the ruler of cryptocurrency, the OG of cryptocurrency, ruling the age of Aquarius right here. Okay, so this is why you have that coming into play. So let's take a look at Taurus and the energy it's going to deliver to all of us here. One card says it all. The sign of Taurus. Thank you very much. We pull a card out and, wow, look at that. We got 2 queens back to back. Bam! The Queen of Swords. This is card number 63. I just did a decode that I released today. Scripted Reality 26. It was on Iron Man. And Iron Man is tied to the Queen of Swords, which is the Flower of Life card. This is the angel of death in a sense. She is a no-nonsense queen. She comes in with clarity. She's the consort of the king. The King of Swords is the almighty king. It doesn't rule with emotions. Well, the queen doesn't do that either. Even though it's a little less abrupt, the queen, this queen right here, is all about cutting to the chase. So those of you that are focusing on your money, the house of Taurus, and the expansion of that, a lot of you right now are focused on, you're watching crypto go up. You're watching your money go up. You're seeing it expand. You're seeing the changes around the world. Well, the Queen of Swords comes in with some clarity. You're getting clarity now. This is telling you to focus on your clear the board, focus on the clarity of your finances, because the house of Taurus is the house of money and possessions. So the Queen of Swords, which is clarity, comes in right after the Queen of Cups. Wow. So it's saying, the message here is, figure out what you want in your house of Aries and fire and your drive and your testosterone, and then get clear on what it is that you want. You want to get clear on these ideas. Remember, the highlight of this reading overall is the new moon on December 1st, which is the 4 diamonds, which is I want financial security. And that will resonate with a lot of you. Okay, so Queen of Swords. Let's now get into Gemini. We're going to talk about Gemini now. Gemini, let's just take this off and move. Whoops. Gemini is right here. Now remember, I'm not going on the houses because this has already changed, but you'll notice that nothing's here. Nothing is occupying Gemini. Gemini is the house of creation. Because once you have your money and possessions, it's time to create with those possessions that you have. You get artistic right here. You get communicative right here. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is up here in the highlight of all this because it's conjunct with the new moon. So there's a lot of amazing thoughts that are coming into your mind to create with. And remember, Sirius always sits in the sign of Gemini, the brightest star in the night sky. Okay? All right. So, Gemini. Let's get a card for Gemini. Let's shuffle these a little bit. All right. Third house, third zodiac sign, I should say. Gemini, Mercury ruled. Keep in mind, again, Mercury being in the house of power. So we have, wow, amazing. Three queens in a row. You know, the queens, the Queen of Pentacles, the Queen of Discs, the queens, they give the matrix to us. The queen births the matrix. Not the kings. The kings oversee the matrix. The queens are that's why all the women have all the power. The queen is what gives birth to the simulation and takes away the simulation. So we now have the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Swords, and now we have the Queen of Discs. Card number 77. Card number 38 in the cards of illumination, the Queen Diamonds card. And this queen right here, obviously, when you have I want, it's I want to give birth to money. That's what the Queen of Diamonds means. Diamonds is a woman's best friend, right? Diamonds are matter. The last suit in the tarot. Diamonds represent physicality. I want. And the highlight of this reading is the new moon on December 1st in the 4 of diamonds, which is I want financial security, or I want stable security. Well, the Queen of Diamonds comes in here, and she's coming into the house of Gemini. And Gemini ruled by Mercury. And Mercury, again, if we go look and take a peek, again, at this position, there's nobody home here. But we have Mercury, who rules Gemini, up here, conjunct, and sitting in the sign of Ophiuchus. Now, again, I just want to show you really quickly here. When we take a look at, here it is. When we take a look at the map, we're using stellarium-web.org. You're seeing that there's the moon right there. The new moon sitting in the sign of Ophiuchus along with Mercury. These are literally right on top of one another. So you have, this is a powerful conjunction here because Mercury is the way you think. And the moon is the way you feel. That's why you go on a honeymoon. Well, when you have both of these sitting in Ophiuchus, you're getting the higher octave of Scorpio. You're getting the ability to tap into the serpent bearer, who's the hidden one on the zodiac wheel, but has every right to be there. And this is a very powerful combination. So even though the Gemini energy is bare here, we still reference the Mercury who rules that hotel. You know, when you go to these hotels, when we look at the hotel Mercury and Gemini, this is what the house of Gemini would look like. The hotel lobby of Gemini, it would be very technologically savvy. It would be people who are business people. They're busybodies. They're people who travel. They like to move around. They like to communicate. They like to get involved with each other. They want to share ideas. So the Queen of Diamonds comes in here. The Queen of Pentacles comes into this hotel. And now you're talking about 3 queens in a row. And the Queen of Pentacles comes in here. So now it's like, okay, what kind of creative ideas do you have? Queen of Pentacles sits here. What kind of creative ideas do you have that will be able to give you the opportunity to earn from? It's time to cash in those chips. It's time to take those ideas that you have that you're not sharing with other people. Forget about it trying to be perfect. Stop trying to make sure it's got to be done right. Listen, if this message resonates with you, it's time to get those ideas out into the open, because the whole foundation is financial security. A new idea. How do you reach financial security? Well, the Queen of Pentacles comes in here, and ladies and gentlemen, this queen obviously is the nurturer of money, the supplier of the diamonds. Being in the house, the Hotel Gemini, which is all about business and sharing ideas, and maybe it's time that you start going to other people and say, hey, you know what? I got this great idea. I got this money idea, and I need some help with it. I need your creative spark. Because remember, to start it off, we had the Queen of Dreams. You got to take your dream. 3 queens in a row, like, this is absurd. This energy right here, there's a lot of birthing energy coming in for this new moon energy. So if you have some ideas that you feel are, $1 million ideas, even if you don't think it's worth a lot, if you're savvy about it, if you're passionate about it, the queen wants to repay you for it. But you got to get clear. You must get clear on these ideas. Okay? And so that was Gemini, the house of communication. All right, so let's now move into the house of Cancer. Remember, Mars is sitting in Cancer right now. So right off the bat, we know that there's a lot of focus on the home life. Now, those of you that have a very chaotic home life, well, this can magnify that chaos, where you can be having a lot of arguments with your significant other, your children, because Mars wants to get fed. And when it comes into Cancer, well, it's like, hey, you know what? I have to have it my way in the house. You're going to be subordinate to me. So listen, if you're trying to be right in your reality, in your home life, well, you're going to probably be sacrificing love in the home life. So where is the sacrifice on your part? The Mars in Cancer energy can be very finicky with this. Okay, so just make sure that you're aware of that. And, Mars being tied to Aries, being tied to that Queen of Dreams, maybe somebody in your house, other than you, has a great idea that maybe you need to ask them, hey, you know what, family? What kind of ideas do you got? When's the last time you've done that? Gone to your family and said, hey, let's have a family meeting. And you sit down with your family and say, hey, family, do you guys have any ideas on how we can create financial security? Even if it's your little 8-year-old or 10-year-old, man, these kids have magical dreams or magical visions. So it's not just you. You can extend that into your family. But remember that Mars being in Cancer, well, this can be very chaotic as well to disrupt the home life. Okay, but there also is, on the asset side, Mars in Cancer is where you have the drive to make sure that home gets protected. This is being very protective over your home life. Maybe some of you will have experiences where you're going to have to protect your home life. Maybe something will happen where you will be forced to use that Mars energy to protect your family. Maybe you're doing that right now. This can involve court, because Mars is testosterone and fire. Okay, so some of you will be experiencing that. But the card for Mars in Cancer. Okay? Cancer energy, showing you the chart, going here. Here's Cancer, and there's that Mars energy. And this, this can play out big because the Four of Diamonds is going to sit in that house of Cancer because it's house number 4, and the Four of Diamonds has got a big fat 4 on it. So the security, you might want family security. And there will be a lot of effort to do that with Mars in Cancer, to secure that family environment, to have that new security. There's a new idea you may have. Listen, it's time to get off your ass and do it. It's not time to sit around and wait and think it's going to come to you. Okay, so let's talk about Cancer. Let's take a peek. So let's just shuffle these cards and let's see what card we get for Cancer. So the Cancerian energy is... Well, look at that. Well, we have the King of Swords. Card number 64, the consort of the Queen of Swords. And how very fitting, because now you have the judge of all judges. This King of Swords is the I am of the I am. Why? Because it represents I am spirituality. This king is a king that rules with no emotions. So when it looks down upon an idea or a situation, it doesn't get emotionally involved to deliver the right way to go. It doesn't use its feelings. It uses logic and discernment. This guy. And it's sitting in the house of Cancer with Mars there. So for some of you, if you have family disputes right now, if you have some disillusions in your family life, this is telling you, stop using your emotions. Stop getting angry. Take a deep breath. It's okay. Take a step back. Get your emotions out of the situation. If you want financial security, you might have to step back and use the King of Swords, which is a king that doesn't use love and fear. Sitting in the house of Cancer, and Mars there to aggravate that energy, to cause a little bit of a challenge. There's a lot of energy on the swords, and there's a lot of energy right now on the thinking aspect. And that King of Swords in the sign of Cancer with Mars there, this can be really challenging for some people if you're having problems in the home life. If you're looking to set up a home-based business, well, again, the new moon, the new ideas, financial security, Four of Diamonds, this is an opportunity for you. Don't get attached to the ideas that you have. You have to figure out with logic and discernment through this king. Without getting emotionally involved, how can I set up a home-based business, Cancer, without getting my emotions involved with it? Like crypto's gone up. I have crypto. I collect it. I don't even really look at it. It's like, it's not that it's pretty cool to watch the numbers go up, but what happens if the rug gets pulled and you lose it all? Are you going to be bummed out? Diversity is a big thing these days, not having all your eggs in one basket. So that was Cancer, folks. Cancer. Let's now move into the sign of Leo, the lion, the devil, the ego, the pride, right? And the lion, we move up here now, and we can see we have another zodiac sign, and no one's home. This is the house of manifestation. When you go to the hotel, this is what it looks like. It's very gold, right? It represents the sun. It's luxurious. It's regal. It's where you want to manifest everything. This is when you bring out your sex appeal. This is where you bring out, you're looking your best. Your hair's done exactly. Your makeup's done. You're dressed to a T. You're at this party. You're looking to the nines, because the sun is now becoming matter. And it's going to represent the regalness. The lion is the pride, your ego. And the ego wants to manifest things. So that's what we're going to take a look at here. And obviously nobody's home here, but let's see what card we get for this house of Leo, for the Leo energy, for all of you. And maybe you have, the transit-wise, maybe you have some energy in Leo. Okay? But let's take a look. Now, this is going to be a pivotal because we have a lot of energy focused on financial security and new ideas coming out and making sure those ideas come out to fruition. So the House of Leo, another money card. Wow. Say it isn't so. Yeah, we have the final card in the deck, the King of Pentacles, card 77/78. The third King of Diamonds in the Cards of Illumination, card 39. This is the King of Entrepreneur. This is the King of all kings. We have now the two that rule over money. We have the Queen of Diamonds in the sign of Gemini, where you communicate, where you find out where your creative ideas are going to come from. She wants to deliver some new ideas. She wants to pay you for those ideas. And now you move into the House of Leo, where you manifest things. And now you get the mighty King of Pentacles, the King of Discs. And this guy right here is the King of Money. So there's a lot of money on the table here with these new dreams, new ideas, making sure you're clear about what you want, making sure that you're logical of what you need and what you want and desires and whatnot. And this could be, for some of you, because Mars is in Cancer, there could be a big focus on the home life, setting up a home-based business. This is going to be a thing because as we move into transhumanism, as we move into merging with machines, as we know, we're already seeing a lot of jobs are going to be removed. So people are going to have to get creative. And there's going to be a lot of movement to online businesses. That's how I see it. So if you're somebody who wants to set something up like that, well, the time is now. And again, if you don't know what you want in life, study your code, your astrological chart, your numerology, your human design, your Enneagram. Once you figure it out, then you'll be able to take the steps towards what you're destined to be. And this will make a heck of a lot more sense. Okay. All right. So now let's move into the sign of Virgo. Now, Virgo is the Virgin. Virgo is the largest zodiac sign in the sky. It's ruled by another one ruled by Mercury. So Virgo is the way you think. The last day of creation is Virgo. The Lover's card in the tarot is Virgo. And Virgo being the Virgin, see, she doesn't want to give up her virginity. This is why Virgos are known to be OCD. They don't want the germs and bacteria because they want to keep it perfect. So this is also the house of health. You want to keep your health in check. This is the house of your legacy and masterpiece. So we're going to go take a look at on the chart. Here's Virgo, and you can see how big Virgo is. And we have the south node of the moon here for everybody. Right now, in real time, we have the spiritual. Now, K2 doesn't give a shit about materialism. K2 is your spirituality. So it keeps your desires in check when you have these things balanced. Now, what's amazing about the polarity of these two right now is that Rahu is in the most mystical sign out of all zodiac signs. It's in Pisces right now. So this is a very good balance for these two because Rahu, which normally blows things out of proportion when it comes to materialism, well, you're moving into a mystical sign. So now your desire is focused on your spirituality and mysticism and all that kind of stuff. So this, I feel, is a very good, a very, very beneficial axis of K2 and Rahu. But K2 being in the sign of Virgo. And just remember that Virgo is the sign. Why do I have legacy here? Because the last day of creation is day number 6 through that story. The first perfect number in mathematics is the number 6. 6 is the element carbon, and that's tied to the Lover's card in the tarot. That's why Adam and Eve are tied to the Lover's card. That's why Virgo is the virgin. She gives birth. This is the Immaculate Conception, yada, yada, yada. So we have K2 here. So this is what we're going to take a look at. So Virgo, the energy of Virgo, Hotel Virgo, Hotel Paradise, Hotel Health. Let's take a look at this card here. So Virgo, well, look at all these queens coming out. Unprecedented. Now you get the mighty queen, the Empress. She is the ruler of Gemini. the way you think, your ideas. She gives birth to your... Why is this the sign of Gemini? Because it's card number 3, and Gemini is the 3rd zodiac sign. What rules Gemini? Mercury. Remember, Mercury right now is in Ophiuchus, the hierarchy of Scorpio. So these ideas, the energy coming in right now from the zodiac are of higher ideals because of the Ophiuchus energy. That's being given to you, downloaded into your brain, and you're able to use this information. You have to act upon it. So this queen right here, the Empress, she is the most... This is like the queen on the chessboard. The most powerful piece on the chessboard is the queen. It ain't the king. The king is the one everybody wants to put in checkmate. But the queen is the most dominant piece. Of course, because the females, they give birth to the simulation, not the kings. So this card right here, sitting in the sign of Virgo, what would this be telling you? Well, remember, K2, just go here and show you this. K2 is representing your spirituality. Your spirituality is tied to your legacy and masterpiece. House number 6, the first perfect number, carbon, the lover's card, family, health. This may be an idea where you need to give birth to. You need to focus on your health. And your health is tied to your spirituality through K2. Maybe you're focusing too much on your finances. Maybe you're just gung-ho on watching the clock and the tickers and seeing how the crypto's going and just getting emotionally involved with the ups and downs of cryptocurrency or fiat or gold and silver or whatever the case may be. Maybe your health is suffering. Some of you right now need to pay attention to your health. That's the message here for you. This would be the Empress card. She is in K, and K2 doesn't care about physicality. So this is spirituality through your health. So, ladies and gentlemen, for some of you, you may not be that healthy. And the Empress is saying, hey, you know what? I know you want your money, but you know something? How can you enjoy it when you're deathly ill? How can you enjoy it when you're sick? How can you enjoy it when you're bloated all the time? How can you enjoy it when you got this and that going on? You got to do something about it. You got to do something about it. Now, if it's not health for some of you, K2 and spirituality in the sign of Virgo and Rahu over in the house of spirituality, there's a large drive towards focusing on your spirituality to balance out. Remember, K2 doesn't care about the money. Rahu does. K2, doesn't. I don't really care about that. You do that, Rahu. K2's like, I'll sit in the background. I've been there, done that. So for some of you, you need to focus on your health. For others of you, you need to focus on giving birth to your legacy and masterpiece, which will be heavily steeped in your spirituality. Because Rahu's in the most spiritual side, the mystical side of Pisces. Okay? So that's going to be, that was Virgo. All right, let's move now into Libra. And Libra, right now, is right here. Now, again, forget about the houses, because these have already changed. But I'm concerned about what's here. Not even the midheaven. Forget the midheaven, because this has already changed. This is the timestamp of 11:03 p.m. We've already passed that. We're already 30 minutes past that. So this has already changed. But is there anything here affecting the energy of the house of Libra? And Libra is the house ruled by Venus. And it means relationships, balance, symmetry, art. Okay? When you look at the hotel of Libra, this is what it looks like. It's an artistic hotel. There's concerts and music and ballet dancers. Symmetry. Perfectly symmetrical because it's the scales of balance. So there's no energy right now, celestial-wise, affecting this. This thing's operating all on its own. It's harmonious. People are having good time here. Remember, Libra is the final house before the sun goes down into the underworld. So this is the golden hour. This sign is representing the gold. When everybody wants to take pictures, the golden hour, because the sun is setting. Okay? So it's symmetrical. The sun is very balanced at that time. Okay? But there's nobody home here. Okay? So we're just going to talk about what card that we can pull from this deck to represent Libra. And remember, the house of Libra is a house that's geared towards your intimate relationships, marriages. It's representing the crown. It's representing critiquing. Why critiquing? Why would you critique in this house? Because Libra is ruled by Venus, and Venus wants all the luxuries. She wants to have all the luxuries, the fine linens, the gold, the silver, but be very balanced about it. Libra being very symmetrical. Remember, Libra is the scales. So this could pertain to your home life and your marriage life. It can pertain to business partnerships. Are you balanced in those areas? So the card to represent this pull for Libra. Wow, another king. This is crazy how many kings. We have nothing but kings and queens so far. Nothing. There is no page. Wow. The 36th card in the deck, the King of Wands. The king that oversees the simulation. The Queen of Wands is the card that gives birth to the simulation through fire, initiation. The king oversees it. So now you have the king in the sign of Libra, and this king right here is a mental king. This king right here is a king that rules by way of fire. This card is tied to Ra, the sun god. But on the liability side, this is the card of 911. So it can represent what is called Ra in Hebrew. It's calamity, it's evil, it's destruction. So it can be a very liability-based card energy. When you bring it in the house of Libra and there's nobody home right there, right? This guy right here, another authoritative king to focus. Maybe you need to bring authority down on your relationship. Maybe you need to have this kind of energy come in your life. If you're married or you got a girlfriend or boyfriend or you're in a partnership, maybe you need to listen more. This king right here listens to everything. This represents mental mastery. So there's a lot of energy right now with this reading of bringing new ideas with clarity that will deliver abundance to pay you back for your ideas, but you need to have concise ideas. You need to figure out exactly what it is you want, and you need to give birth to these new ideas without being afraid of the consequences. No fear here. Some of you are afraid to move forward with your ideas. This king right here is the overseer of the mental realm. This card right here is tied to the occult. The word occult, the word source, this is the card. So you have it in the sign of Libra right now. And if we go to Libra again and look at the chart, there's nobody home. But what rules Libra? Venus. Venus rules it. But Venus is not there. Venus is not staying in that hotel. Venus is down here. Venus is in Sagittarius, having its time with wisdom. Venus is loving it here, gathering wisdom. A lot. Right now, there's a huge inpour of wisdom. We're going to talk about that. Massive. I want to, once I get to Saturn, I'm going to show you why. Okay? But Venus rules this, but there's a massive amount of wisdom coming in that you can take part of in your house of relationships. And that king, this king right here, is sitting in that house of Libra. So this king is a fire king, no nonsense. Mental mastery in your relationships. But this card definitely means you need to listen more. Instead of fighting if those of you that are having relationship problems, business relationship problems, you might not be listening enough. You may be talking too much and not listening to what the other person is saying. See, this king hears it all. He will stop and listen to get the gist of everything. Because the kings, king of swords, king of clubs, these kings, they have to, in order to oversee the matrix, to oversee the simulation, you need to observe it all. You need to listen to every angle. And when this comes into the house of Libra, you need to listen to the angles of your wife or your husband or your girlfriend or boyfriend, your children. You need to listen to what they're thinking. And in business partnerships, you need to start listening to what your business partner has to say instead of trying to strong arm everything and have it your way. Because you are in the 7th house of Libra and there's nothing there right now. And so it's very harmonious. This card comes in here. You need to drop the hammer down on mental mastery and some of you need to listen more and you're not listening enough. You're trying to overpower people, trying to be right. I get it. Everybody's right. That's the thing about this reality. Everybody in this, when you graduate and you refine, you'll realize that nobody walking this planet is wrong. Everybody thinks they're right. And then you get people say, oh no, you're wrong. Yeah. Says who? Well, I know it's not that. Okay, but everybody's still right, folks. And you know what you'll end up doing is you'll get trapped. Don't get trapped and snookered into thinking that you're right and somebody else is wrong. Because you're going to end up having a lot of energy drained and you'll sacrifice a lot of love and that will move you into the layers. You'll be polarized into the lower realms of your chakras and you don't want to be there. You don't want to be in the red, orange, and yellow layers of your chakras. Just because you won't listen to your partner, you won't listen to your husband or wife, you don't know anything. You won't listen to your business partner, you won't listen to your children. This is about symmetry here, folks. This card comes in here, it's telling you, you need to focus on your symmetry. How do you get symmetry in your life? That means homeostasis, that means balanced. How do you get your relationship balanced? By listening. Talking when it's appropriate. Don't overtalk. Don't strong arm. Some of you are doing that right now. You're sacrificing love just so you can be right. And we all do it. But this is a reminder to not do that. To at least take that into consideration. All right. So that was Libra. Let's now move into Scorpio. Let's move into Scorpio. And we're going to take a look at the 8th zodiac sign here, Scorpio. And I've already talked about this a little bit, but what you see here is we have the sun. The sun, Helios, is in the sign of Scorpio. So what happens when the sun stops by? And, you know, when you look at the hotel, this is what it looks like for Scorpio. You know, you go from this symmetrical, artistic, it's the golden hour. People are taking pictures. It's the best time to take pictures. The sun's going down. Well, once the sun goes down, now it's nighttime. But where does the sun go? It goes into the underworld. And now it represents fire because the sun now is the sun in the darkness. So it represents fire. So you have this very seductive hotel lobby. It's black, it's red, it's fiery, sexual, right? There's an occult layer to this. People are in secret here because you're in the dark. And this is why Scorpio is a sign of power. Because the sun is now in the domain of the yin energy. It's now in the domain of the underworld. It's no longer playing in the light like it was doing here. Here's the house of Virgo, where it's a lot of trees and shrubbery. This is all when the sun is providing its light to give photosynthesis. And when it provides light to have the golden hour, you get down to the sign of Scorpio, the sun now becomes a flame. It becomes a fire because now you're in the darkness. So it becomes seductive. The sun becomes seductive. It becomes part of the underworld, the trip through the underworld, as the Egyptians would call it. Okay? So let's take a look at this one. Scorpio. Shuffle these cards a little bit. So the sun is in Scorpio right now. Okay? The sun is in Scorpio. So the sun, when it gets down to Scorpio, man, it's illuminating the darkness. And what happens when you illuminate darkness? Things go running to go hide. Like, vampires, they can't hit the sunlight, so they go running. And I'm just being theoretical here. But now the sun goes into Scorpio and now it becomes the flame, the eternal flame in the underworld. So it illuminates things. And there's a lot of emphasis right now for this reading on the house of power. Scorpio being, the key word is power. The number 8 is the infinity symbol. It's power. Never ending. power. Okay? So the card that represents Scorpio is the 26th card in the deck, the Four of Wands. This is tied to the house. The word house equals 26. This is it. Like as in the house always wins. The casino. When you walk into a casino, I guarantee you, you may leave with money, but if you sat there all night long, you'll dump all your money into the casino. If you went to a casino with $1 million and you said, I'm going to bankrupt the casino or it's going to take all my money, which one do you think is going to happen? You ain't bankrupting the casino. It may take a few days, a week, but they're going to take your $1 million. The house always wins, right? So this is the card of the house. This is the card of the Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh, by the way. In Hebrew numerology, Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh is 26. This is the Four of Clubs. The Four of Clubs is tied to the angel. It's tied to stability through fire. Stability through fire. Now, it's in the house of power. It's in the sign of Scorpio. So for some of you, with the sun in Scorpio, you're having a grand old time setting up shop, building your foundations, setting up a casino, a house in the sign of the occult, in the underworld. And remember, Mars is in Cancer. The co-ruler of Scorpio, Mars is all the way over in Cancer, and that's the home. So for some of you, you're setting up a home-based business, but it also involves the power of Scorpio, the underworld. Some of you, like right now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to give a big shout out to Jordan at Waters Above. He is doing things that, like he's been the initiator of so many great ideas. One of them is he's taking the moon, Mercury, and he's not the only guy that's doing this, but he has so much knowledge in this area. He's taking this Scorpio energy, the power, the occult, and he's moving it into a business, cryptocurrency. He's showing you the patterns of the cryptocurrencies going up and down, and the moon cycles, and Mercury there as well. Mercury and the moon, Mercury is the planet of commerce. Moon is tied to money. It's tied to the dips and the highs and lows, as he has shown. So for some of you, you may be setting up a home-based business because Mars is in Cancer. Cancer is home, and Mars is the co-ruler of Scorpio, and the sun is in Scorpio right now. And Jordan's using the occult, astrology, numerology. He's using that to narrate cryptocurrency. That's what he's doing. So for some of you, you are setting up this, and some of you may be rejoicing because your crypto's gone to the moon. A lot of you have made, on paper, you've made a lot of money. Doubled, tripled, quadrupled your money. Some of you have made a lot more than that, depending on how much you got. It's gone up a lot. Now, I'm not going to give you financial advice. I'm not going to tell you anything about how it's going to go. But this being in the sign of Scorpio, well, just make sure that you're very cautious about what you do. Don't be going out. Keep yourself in check. Because when you start to set up shop in the world of seduction, it can lead to some liability kind of turnouts. Okay. And it can uproot your family life. Some of you listening to this, some of you are leading a double life. You're portraying yourself to be somebody who lives a life of fidelity. You're in a marriage or you're in a partnership and you're not. You're cheating. You're setting up another secretive life in the seductive layer of Scorpio. Some of you are. And listen, I'm not here to say it's a bad thing. I'm neutral to this kind of stuff. I'm just telling you like it is. But the ramifications that comes with that, to me anyway, it's just not worth it. Like infidelity and all, it's just not worth it. But some people like to do that. They like to have multiple partners. They like to lie. They like to dance around. And they like to create some kind of secondary home in a layer of seduction in the house of Scorpio. So I'm just letting you know that, the opposite of Scorpio is Taurus. And I just want to let you know that the Queen of Swords is sitting in the house of Taurus. We've already gone over that. And she is the flower of life. She will make sure that things get revealed. So those of you that are running double lives and you have another lover or several lovers, you may be, especially now, with moving in, everything's being illuminated, and where Saturn's at right now, some of you think you're going to get away with it. Well, there may come a time when you get discovered. And the Queen of Swords across from that card can spell that. And it might be a disaster for you. It will be a tower moment. And you just keep dancing around thinking, it's never going to happen to me. It's never going to happen to me. But this energy right now around the world, the collective, is where things are being brought. Just remember that right now, things that have been hidden are being brought out into the limelight. Well, this is going to extend in your personal life. So if you're somebody who is a cheater, it could come out in the light and you're going to get burned, man. Some of you are doing these double lives, and you have like a marriage that, like, if you got caught, you're going to lose everything. But you can't give it up. You can't control your mojo because you're too busy off dealing in a fantasy land, creating another secretive home in the house of Scorpio. Sex. You have a mistress or you have some dude on the side. Now, again, I'm not here to say right or wrong, but I'm saying is that the Queen of Swords across from that, she's going to want to bring that to the forefront. And this is why the whole world collectively is seeing what we would say considered justice. Things are coming out. Don't think that you're going to be the person who may escape that, because you just don't know. Okay. So that was Scorpio. Well, let's now get into the highlight of this reading, because the new moon is in Ophiuchus. So taking a look at this right here, here's the moon, and it's a new moon, right? It's a new moon. So we have a new moon, new ideas in the house hotel of power. Okay? The house of power. And that new moon is not just here by itself, it's with Mercury. And these are the way you think and the way you feel. Okay, so there again, the Queen of Cups was the first card that started this thing out, and that's tied to the dreams. Well, your dreams are going to be driven with power here. There's a lot of energy focused on the occult right now. Heavy energy around the world. Heavy energy in the occult, especially now. So if you're a decoder, well, you're probably going to be delivered new ideas in your decoding efforts. If you're somebody, this is a time, ladies and gentlemen, right now to study your code personally. It's time to pull out your astrological chart. If you've never used Mastering the Zodiac, if you're somebody who just uses like a different system, I'm just going to suggest that you consider looking at this and studying it a little bit. Don't just refute it because you resonate with another system. Take a look at this one. I feel this is the master system. And this does the best job. Okay? So Ophiuchus right now is occupied by Mercury and the moon. And it's a hierarchy of Scorpio. When we go and take a look at, let me just take this off of here. When we take a look at the hierarchy, we move from the red, the fire burning, we now move into the hierarchy of Scorpio. We now get into the balanced color of green. It's the serpent bearer. So it's still not, this represents high degrees of knowledge. So the black is representing eternal. It represents the seed that contains all the wisdom. And the serpent is well known in the occult world of being the serpent of wisdom. And the green to me is the hierarchy of the red in Scorpio. And it represents the balance of wisdom. Being able to balance yourself with the wisdom that's coming in from the eternal color of black. Okay, so this is Ophiuchus. And Mercury comes by. So imagine Mercury walks into this hotel. Now, Mercury is a very fast-moving archetype. So it's like, oh, what do we got going on here? Oh my God, look at all these colors. Look at the snakes. Look at the black. Da 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 da. Right? And it wants to communicate. It's ruler of Gemini, ruler of Virgo. So it wants to start to create and communicate. It wants to sit down with these people. Hey, what's going on? What's your name? What do you do? I got this idea, I got that idea. Remember, it's the trickster Mercury, the way you think. Then the moon's here. So then the moon comes in, the energy comes in, and now it wants to go on this feeling trip. The moon tied to the house of home, tied to the way you feel about this reality. So it's a very nurturing energy. The Mercury's all over the place, bopping around, bebopping around, stopping by at every table, talking to every person. Because Mercury's all about opportunities because it's the planet of commerce. The moon's more stable because it represents the home and nurturing and Cancer. So it's a much different dynamic. It's completely different and opposite from Mercury. And also we have Pallas here, Palladium. This is Athena. Athena was Zeus's favorite. Coming from the eye, the great red spot coming from that was Palladium, Pallas, wisdom. So there's a high degree of wisdom coming in to everybody on the world stage. And it's moving through the house of Ophiuchus and the lower part of Scorpio. So we have great access to the occult and higher aspects to your spirituality from the occult, because then you move into the wisdom of Sagittarius. So there's a big energy right here. And, this is where you're going to be having the hermit energy, the sage, this energy coming in to give you. And power is what? Knowledge. Okay, power is knowledge. All right. So Ophiuchus, let's take a peek. Ophiuchus. Look at that, the Magician, the first card. Well, we have, the spread tonight is phenomenal. We have the first card in the deck, the Magician. Now, I will go back and I'm going to pull the first card that we yanked for Mars, for Aries, right? The Dreamer. So the idea here on the new moon is new ideas. It's heavily steeped in financial security, yes, but you need to have the idea to roll that out. Well, now you have the Magician, who is the card of Aries. The Magician is the card of Aries. So these combine together, and now what this is saying is that you have all the tools on the table, as the Magician does, and the Magician is calling for the energy of the sun to bring it down to the world of sin. This Magician card, the other card that has the same arm format is the Devil. So the right-hand arm of the Magician is Shalom. That's good, bringing heaven to earth, to the sin, the world of sin. That's the world we're in. This is about manifesting your desires, about being a magician. And what does this combination mean? You need to focus. What do you want in life? What is it that you really want? Remember, this is the card that sits in the house of Ophiuchus right now, with Mercury, the way you think, and with the moon, the way you feel. So these ideas that you have that the Queen wants to give birth to from the very start of this reading through the house of Aries, some of you could be manifesting a home base. This is a lot about a home-based business. Like, what should I do? Do you want a home-based business? There's going to be a lot of it coming out in the future days ahead because, again, I feel that robots will take a lot of the jobs, factories and robotic stuff will take over. And there will be less and less jobs. You're going to have to use this energy of the Magician. This sits in the house of Ophiuchus. The new moon is here. So this Magician right here, wow, how is it powerful? The Magician comes into Ophiuchus with the new moon. And if your claim to fame here is, I want financial security, well, you need to come up with some new ideas. This is the time to use the tool. What kind of tools do you have to deliver your dreams? That's what this is saying right here. And for some of you, it's a home-based business. Mars being the ruler of this card. Mars is sitting in Cancer. Cancer is the house of home. Some of you could be creating a home-based business or you need to take the steps to do that. Like the great movie, The Secret, it says you don't need to see the whole staircase, just take the first step. Don't worry about how you're going to get there. You need to trust. You need to have a little more faith. Listen, you're not going to make any mistakes. There's no such thing as that. We call them that. Oh, I'll never do that again. Well, that was a great lesson because you'll never do it again. Save you from doing it twice. Imagine you were completely unaware of doing something that didn't pan out the way you wanted it to, and you did it again, and then you did it again and did it again, and you're like, well, when you do it and you say, I did it wrong, it gives you the opportunity to not repeat that. That's value. And the same goes when you do something right. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to do that again. And you ride that wave as long as you can. So there's a lot of initiation here. There's a lot of clarity in this reading. You need to have clarity in your life. And this is across from, Ophiuchus is across from that, the Queen of Pentacles, which is, she wants to pay you for your ideas, but you need to come up with some new ideas. And Ophiuchus, again, this is using your higher mind. You forget about the lower, like Scorpio's the lower depths. Ophiuchus is the higher octaves. Some of you could meditate, turn on some 714 frequency or 969 or something very high frequency while you meditate to tap into those frequencies of Ophiuchus. You know, when you meditate, how do you meditate? Well, get all the senses involved. How do you do that? Well, burn some incense to get the sense of smell. Get comfortable to get the sense of feel. Put on some music to get the sense of hearing. Get as many senses as you can get involved when you're meditating, and then have an objective, because this whole reading so far is a lot of queen energy, which is giving birth. This whole new moon in Ophiuchus is using your higher ideals with the magician and making sure you're calling for, like, give me that, and bringing it down to something tangible on the world stage. But you got to have the guts and the courage to do it and not be afraid of what you call mistakes. See, I believe in predestination, which means that there are no such thing as mistakes. There's just things happening for you. You may not like the outcomes, but there are things just happening for you. And they teach you things. That's what life is, a teacher. And we give feedback from that. All right. So that's Ophiuchus. Let's now go into the 9th zodiac sign, Jupiter's Sagittarius. Sagittarius is up next on the block, and we're going to take a look at, come over here. Now, what you're seeing here is an energy of wisdom. Sagittarius is the hotel of wisdom. Okay, that's what it is. So if I go to that hotel, this is what it's going to look like. This is the hotel lobby of Hotel Sagittarius. As you can see, there's a shitload of books here, stacked to the ceiling. This is, if you're a fan of Jason from Archaics, this is his domain. This is where he'd be hanging out. This is where the aristocrats are. This is where the philosophers are. This is where the people that study theology, that share ideas, that want to expand the consciousness of the world. This is where they're all hanging out. You can find anything in this library because Zeus is the ruler of this, and Zeus is the Olympian who's the king of the gods who wants to expand the land of man and woman. Okay? And right now, we have Aphrodite and we have Hades here. So we have Venus, Aphrodite coming in here. And just remember that she likes to have the finer things in life. So when you mix an energy of that and you bring it into a hotel lobby that looks like this, what would Venus be doing here? She'd want to have all the books you can't get. She'd want to sit in the most comfortable chair. She'd want to hang out with the most beautiful people. She'd want to have conversations with the most luxurious people. That's what she would do here. So there's an effort right now on the world stage of people wanting this energy and being able to feel this kind of energy and, building relationships here. You know, Aphrodite rules the relationships. So ladies and gentlemen, you can build right now, you can build some very sustainable energies and relationships with people by sharing your wisdom, by going to different, different groups of people and being able to share. You might meet your partner by sharing your wisdom, sharing your information. And then we have Hades here, Pluto. And Hades is on the precipice. Like you hear this a lot now. Okay, this goes against, now everybody says, oh, Hades is over here in Aquarius. It's not anywhere near that. It retrograded back into Sagittarius. This plugs it into here. But if you look at it on the map, let me just go to the map, show you what that looks like. There's Pluto right there. So it's like in between Cappy, and I don't know who draws these, so it's on the, you could say it's a cusp energy right now. And when it moves fully into Capricorn, what happens when Pluto gets into Capricorn? It will remove any kind of energies, or it will boost any kind of energies, because Pluto comes from Plutos, which is the god of the underworld, which is money as well. The Merovingian in the Matrix. So when this thing goes through Capricorn, what is it going to remove? Governments, law, old out law and titles and real estate and markets. Anything from the earth, it's going to remove that. And it's also on the flip side, it's going to establish, because Pluto is normally the doom and gloom, but it also is the riches of the underworld. So right now we have it sitting on the cusp with Venus. Okay. So I feel like Hades right now is stripping away the layer of the consciousness of the world. It's stripping away people's old wisdom that they once had. Their old beliefs, it's being ripped apart. That's what it's doing. It's ripping it apart. Once it hits here, folks, if it was here, it would be completely affecting the technology. It's not doing that. It would completely be affecting social circles. It ain't doing that. It has a long way to go. Your career may change here with this transit. Okay? But these two energies here can mean, from an asset-based position, you could start earning money through sharing wisdom. Okay? Remember that Jupiter, being the ruler of this house, this hotel, is here in Taurus, and Taurus is ruled by Venus. So these are playing off of one another. And Jupiter wants to expand money, possessions. Well, it will be, for a lot of you, it will be through your wisdom. But you need to strip away the old layers that are not useful anymore. And that's why Hades is right now on the precipice of, it's on the cusp. It's right at the gate of moving into Capricorn. Okay? And we'll talk about that in just a little bit. But let's get a card for the sign of Sagittarius. Remember, Sagittarius is the sage, the wise one. It's your higher mind. It's the library you have in your mind, the file folders in your mind. It's your library in your house, on your Kindle, on your phone. It's the videos that you save. It's your theological background. That's what Sagittarius is, and it's the traveler and mover. Some of you may be moving as well. You may be on the brink of moving, because Pluto being in Sagittarius, this can disturb the roots of something that you've established, okay, depending on what numerology sector you're in. So let's get the Sagittarius energy here. Sagittarius, look at that. Happy home. So looking at this from an asset base, this is card 46, card number 10 in the cards of illumination. This card right here represents God's kingdom. It represents the rainbow bridge. So this, in the sign of Sagittarius, with Venus there, this could be, a lot of you, your wishes are going to be coming true, using your higher ideals of your mind. Remember, Jupiter rules the house of Sagittarius, and this is the card for Sagittarius, and Jupiter is in Taurus. And Taurus is about your money. So there's a lot of energy on the table here of financial abundance. And this is happening, it's happening right now all over the world. If you're somebody who has cryptocurrency, if you're somebody who trades and does that, and if you're not doing that, maybe this is the sign for you to get into it. But for some of you, this is what you're going to get. The Ten of Cups in Sagittarius. Some of you may move to get to this position. Sagittarius is the mover, right? So you may move away from where you're at to get to this, to where you want to be. And then you'll make your money through the move. Jupiter rules Sagittarius. This is the card of Sagittarius for tonight. So those of you that have heavy Sagittarius energy, you're looking for, perhaps from a singularity perspective, if you have celestial activity in Sagittarius, you're looking for the rainbow bridge. You're looking for the happy home. Well, you got to make changes in your life. You know, this whole entire reading it's for everybody. But you got to look for the signs in your life. Some of you are going to see it, feel it more than others. Some of you may not feel it at all. But the message is here. All right, so that was Sag. Now we're going to get into the Cappy energy, Capricorn. Capricorn's ruler, Kronos, the judge, Father Time, the father that if you will reward you by hard work and efforts. Okay, so when we go to that hotel, whoops, hang on a second. When we go to the chart, we're now in here. Now remember, forget about the houses. These have already changed. What's influencing the house of career? Capricorn is the house of career. What does it rule over? Real estate, finances, law, government. Anything where there's order and chaos, this is the domain of Capricorn. Typically, it's the Wheel of Fortune card. It's your career. Forget about the ascendant here. This doesn't have any relevance, but Pluto is on the cusp, so it is moving into this. For some of you, for the next upcoming time moving forward, you will change your career. You may get fired. You may quit. Pluto and Capricorn. You may get served papers. You may get subpoenaed. Okay? Capricorn. And the hotel. This is what it would look like. Black is its color because it's the seed. It represents time, everything in time. So this is a power color. The goat, the greatest of all time. Capricorn, business people, law, legal, attorney. Business people, tycoons. This is why the house of Capricorn is your house of your career. So if you know what your Lord is for Capricorn, meaning where your Saturn is, well, you have a lot more keys to your kingdom. Okay? Whoops. So this right here. So let's go back and pull a card for Capricorn. Capricorn. The Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords is a trapped and limited card. This energy right here is tied to the puppet master controlling reality. This is tied to the NPC. Now, what happens when the Eight of Swords comes into the house of Capricorn and the career? Some of you are you're trapped in your career. Some of you don't like your career. Some of you want to change your career. Once Pluto goes direct into Capricorn and starts to make its way through Capricorn, again, Pluto can uproot. Getting fired, quitting, getting a severance package to remove your situation. To remove that. Not to be trapped anymore. Some of you are trapped to your careers. And maybe your husband or wife is complaining about that. You work too much. You don't pay enough attention to me. Your business comes first. A lot of you, your life is supposed to be wrapped around your business. That's the priority in your life, not your marriage. But, I'm not here to give you relationship advice. But the Eight of Swords coming into the house of Capricorn, well, a lot of you are trapped and limited in your careers. Maybe your career is not taking off. Maybe I know there is a lot of people that are dying to cash in on their crypto. But they can't. Or they won't. That's tied to that, right? The career. A lot of you are traders, trading crypto, trading bullion and whatever. But some of you are trapped in your career. And this whole entire reading here is giving you the opportunity to come up with some new ideas to get yourself out of it. To get yourself out of that trapped and limited energy. That's what this is saying. So that was Capricorn. Okay, Capricorn being some of you are trapped in your careers, or you're trapped on not getting into a career because you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting for something to happen. You're waiting for someone to make a move. You're waiting for Trump to get in to be inaugurated. Who gives a shit? The time is now. If you're resonating with this message, if you're if you're going to go and listen to 5 other different tarot readers and they're going to tell you they're going to tell you a million other different stories, and then you're going to get mixed messages on what you should do. I'm not saying I'm the authority here. But if you resonate with any of this information, especially what's going on the world stage, well, I resonate with it. Maybe you could say, well, you're being a little biased. Well, wouldn't you trust yourself? I would think so. So that was Cappy. Let's now get into Aquarius, the house of social circles, the house of friends, the house of technology, the house of justice. The justice card sits here. So Aquarius, right here, is being occupied. This hotel is being occupied by Kronos. Let me just get this guy off. Hold on. Let me get this off. Okay. So Kronos is occupying Aquarius right now. And it's not just this position that I want to show you. It's the actual map of the stars. Look at where Saturn is, ladies and gentlemen. Saturn is right in the bowls being poured out. This is the creme de la creme of Aquarius, because this would represent the information being poured out. Information being poured out, justice being served, Saturn being the co-ruler of Aquarius. Some say, like the old style is the ruler of Aquarius. You're getting justice here by illuminating things, by bringing things out into the open. There's no more hidden things anymore. That's why I had said earlier, if some of you are out there cheating on your significant other and you're having this fantasy date or this fantasy relationship with somebody and you're not living a life of fidelity, don't think it can't bite you in the ass. With this energy coming in right now, don't think that you're going to be like, oh, I'm good. No one's ever going to find out. I don't know why anybody would do any stuff like that anyway, but some people like to cheat. I just don't resonate with that. But there's the bowl being poured out. Saturn. Okay? And this is why this is here. So we have, what happens when Kronos comes into social circles? Well, ladies and gentlemen, you're having things come around full circle in your family life, in your social life. I had a friend of mine who just told me, oh my God, I got reunited. I didn't even know I had these long-lost family members. Yeah, because Kronos is in Aquarius. It's an air sign. This represents long distance. This represents reuniting. The Kronos bringing law and order to the social circle house. Family can be family. technology, bringing structure to technology. That's what it's been doing here. Okay, so let's get a card for Aquarius. The geniuses of the zodiac. Why? Because it represents knowledge. Knowledge is power. This whole entire reading was based on a new moon in the house of the Hotel of Power, which is the hotel of Ophiuchus in Scorpio. So social circles, et cetera, et cetera. You may have, right now, you may be reuniting with friends. You may be getting rid of friends. Saturn in Aquarius. Remember, man, Saturn's the judge. So if you're doing anything a little shady, you better watch out for that. If you're doing anything shady, if you're doing anything behind someone's back, if you're a cheater and you're cheating, don't think that you may escape justice. You may think you might, but some of you will, obviously, but for others you won't. It's just a matter of time before you get caught. And when you do, you're going to be really upset that you did that. You're going to have one of those experiences where you say, oh, this one's not a fun one. This sucks. How much is it worth it? Anyway, I'm not here to tell you how you live your life, but let's get a card for Aquarius, the house of Aquarius, Kronos. Well, we got the Fool here. Now, this message is pretty crystal clear in one example. I just was stating what I was saying. Saturn coming in Aquarius, social circles, the dating scene. You could be somebody to start something new, set the structure up, but again, infidelity. Don't be a fool. That water is being poured out. Saturn is right in that bowl. Saturn represents time. The Akashic records, time. All of it being poured out at one time. That's why you have access at a rapid rate right now. We have access to anything. And it can be convoluted because everything's there, so. But this card here in the House of Social Circles, for some of you, you need to get out. You need to get out and get social with people. Stop being so sheltered. Saturn and Aquarius, it brings structure to Aquarius, but it can structure you where you get inside that box and you never get out of that box. So it's time to get a little bit foolish in the House of Social Circles. And, remember, Uranus, the ruler of Aquarius, is in Taurus. So those of you that are single and you want to be in a relationship, well, the Fool in Aquarius, get out there and get social, because Uranus is in Taurus and Taurus is ruled by Venus. So for some of you, if you want to have the start of a family and you want to get a partnership, start dating. If that's what you want. Set some structure up to start dating. For some of you. All right. So that was Aquarius. And then the final sign here, certainly not the last sign, but the spirituality of Pisces. Let me just take this off because it's going to block my... So Pisces, down here, again, the key word for Pisces is mysticism. I'm a mystical person. I'm spiritual. This is private matters because this is the hangman. And the energy that we have here right now for everybody is you have Poseidon, the ruler of Pisces. You have a Olympian who is the brother of Zeus, who runs the waters. You could say the oceans. You could say earth. Neptune has the pitchfork, the trident. Neptune could be the devil in a sense. But Poseidon to me is your addictions. Right? And addictions, when we hear that word, we think bad. But on the contrary, I have said, do you brush your teeth every day? That's an addiction. Do you floss every day? I hope so. Do you sleep every day? That's an addiction. Do you eat every day? These things, do you work out? These doesn't have to be a bad, addictions can be a good thing. So Poseidon, representing the earth, the father of the earth, so to speak, right? Zeus got the heavens, Poseidon got the earth, Pluto got the underworld. So Poseidon most definitely can be the devil in the sense of what we're talking about. And it represents addictions. And when it moves back into its home sign here, which it has, it's now taking on the energy. And when we look at the hotel, we now get into this right here. Really beautiful. Pisces, right? Source energy, water. What it means to be a human being, wading pools. Church, spirituality, artistry, old school, OG energy. And when you have Poseidon coming back here, well, on the asset side, you can become a mystical warrior here. Because Poseidon does represent mystical qualities. Right? The hierarchy of Poseidon is being very mystical, being very spiritual. Well, now Poseidon's back in its home sign again. So when this thing's vibrating at a high octave, Pisces, the mystical sign, and Poseidon coming in here, some of you are now addicted to your spirituality. You've changed your format of your life in a big way. And on top of that, you have Rahu here, the dragon's head. Rahu, again, is the one that blows things out of proportion. Rahu wants all the materialism. It wants all the benefits. It wants more and more and more. It can't get enough. It's never satisfied. Because the dragon's head has the mouth, and the mouth wants to eat everything. Well, now it's forced to move into a very mystical sign. So when Rahu gets here, is it confused? No, because it's been here a zillion times. But it's forced to stay at this hotel. And this hotel right here, this is not materialism. This is going back to the Pisces is the fish, the feet that you put in the water here. So when you bring Rahu, who just wants to have money and gold and silver and crypto and materialism and be a glutton and have this and it comes into this, it has to be satisfied with what this hotel offers, which is very grounding, very going back to source energy, being very mystical. So this is an amazing connection here from an asset-based position. And this is why I feel the world's energy right now is heavily based on focusing on the mystical side of your life, spiritual, what you feel your spirituality is. And it's not cookie cutter. Forced to look at it. A lot of people are going back to religion, believe it or not. We're seeing that because of the revival of Poseidon coming back into its home sign along with Rahu, which is the desire. So there's a desire right now of being a mystic. Maybe you're doing some ceremonies. Maybe you're doing rituals. Whatever it is to enhance your mystical side of life, your artistic side of life, this is what this energy is all about. And this is going to be here for a minute. Now, the other thing I want to talk about before I pull the card is we have Chiron the wound here. Forget about the house again, but Chiron in Pisces, Chiron represents the wound. Now, this may be that you have a wound in your spirituality. You may have a wound in the way you view your spirituality. But then there's a caveat to this. You may be attracting people that have wounds in their mystical lives. Like attracts like. You may be attracting somebody, maybe you've overcome your wounds and now you attract people. Maybe you're a counselor, or maybe you're a projector in the human design. Or maybe you're somebody who's a healer and you start attracting people who have deep wounds in their spiritual side of life. And they're being forced to find you because of these placements. They don't know why, but they're forced to look at these areas in their lives because Poseidon on the higher octave represents the high levels of mysticism and spirituality. And Rahu has to come in here and it's forced to live through these layers of the Hotel of Pisces. Okay? So with that in mind, let's finalize this Pisces energy here and get the last card to wrap this thing up. Let's see what we got. Very interesting read tonight. A lot of Queen and King energy. Wow. Okay. So Pisces. And this, again, a lot of spirituality, but let's see. What is that? Oh, look at that. The mighty sun. Bam! It's the sun. So, there's a reason why there's a little baby on the horse. And there's a reason why the horse is white, because it represents purity. So the sun is an amazing archetype. When the sun, the first rise of the sun, when the sun first comes and hits your face in the morning time, can it give you a sunburn? No. The sun is playful in the morning time. This is when everybody gets busy, when the light comes up, right? It's time to get busy with it. The sun is saying, here I am. What are we going to do today? Well, the sun in Pisces is, what are we going to do today? We're going to get spiritual. We're going to focus on our mystical side of life. That's what we're going to do. And the sun, as it moves through the sky, it can become the devil. How? Well, during the summertime, like you ever go to Las Vegas or Phoenix when it's August and it's about noontime? You can't even step outside. It's so freaking hot. That's the sun being the devil. Because it's so scorching hot. It'll burn you. You sit out in the sun for 3-4 hours, even if you're somewhere where it's not that hot, you can get red and it will sunburn you. How? From radiation. Radiation. Radiation, the sun. The sun can be the demon, the devil. And then when it goes down and it starts to set, you become the golden hour. It gets into Libra and it's beautiful and it's symmetrical. So the sun can be the giver and the taker. It will dehydrate you. It'll make you evaporate, and it will cause radiation damage, free radicals in the body. So this sun right here, it's beautiful, but I just want to get that clarified here. But this is the card of the Piscean energy, and I think it's magical to kind of end this here because of what this represents. The sun in Pisces is, you're talking about a high-level mystical energy here. So the overall reading here, when that card comes in at the very end of this Piscean energy, with Neptune back in its own sign, with Rahu here forced to deal with spirituality, and the sun coming in here, and the sun, illuminating this spirituality of your life, finding your way. Remember, Pluto retrograding, going back into Sagittarius, removing your old ways of thinking, the sun illuminating new ways of thinking. Harnessing the power of light into the sign of Pisces, where it's a very mystical aspect, and you have Rahu there, which is forced to focus on spirituality, and Poseidon, the higher octave, focused on being a mystic, being a shaman, being somebody who's going to focus on not the material side of life. So this is a very balanced, because in a lot of ways, this overall reading here with these, we had 4 queens here tonight. The Queen of Cups to start this thing off, the Queen of Dreams, all the way to the Empress, the Queen of Swords, the Queen of Discs. So there's a lot of birthing energy coming into this reality. The Kings here, there's some money on the table. There's the rise in finances. But for some of you, what I see here is what's going to happen is you're going to earn the money, and you're going to be service to self. And remember that Scorpio energy, you had the, setting up, and this can be a relationship that's hidden. Some of you will get a mistress, you'll get a dude on the side, and you'll just cheat because you got all this money now, and you can go and you can start to be real secretive. So again, I'm not saying anything bad. I'm just pointing out what the energy is all about, but don't get trapped. This was in the house of Capricorn here. Some of you may lose something. You may get something taken from you. Maybe because you cheated. Maybe because your partner's going to find out. And you're worried. But there's a lot of new energy here, a lot of giving birth to some new energies here. And to have this thing come out, at the end was very magical. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this deck right here called Star Codes Astro Oracle, and we're just going to shuffle these big ass cards made for a horse. I'm going to do my best, and we're going to pull a card to see what house or celestial it wants to focus on. It wants you to focus on. Okay. So here we go. Oh, let's get rid of Let me get rid of these. That and that. Okay. So. Virgo. So this overall reading, the main focus will be on Virgo. Now, the card that we pulled for Virgo was the Empress. What a magical card to pull for Virgo, since Virgo represents legacy, masterpiece, carbon, the Lover's card in the tarot. Some of you need to focus on your family. Some of you need to focus on your health. Some of you need to focus on your legacy and masterpiece. Some of you need to focus on refining that. You know, when you go back to the chart and we look up here, this is what it wants you to focus on. And what do we have here? The spirituality of K2. Going back, this is the baby. And harnessing this energy, and this is going to go down and throw its energy at Rahu, and we just got done talking about this, the sun being here, illuminating the mystical side of your life, but it all is asking you to start here. For everybody, no matter if your K2's not here, it's collectively here for everybody. In the sign of Virgo, the Virgin. So the message, perhaps, for those of you that are resonating with the Virgo energy, you either need to give birth to some new ideas with your legacy and masterpiece, you need to give some new ideas, or you need to give energy to your health and wellness, because what's it good if you have all that money if you're sick and you don't feel good? Or you're taking all the money and you're having to spend it on medical because you've been not taking care of your body. You've been toxifying it with whatever. A little bit of smoking, a little bit of drinking, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of eating too much food. You're not working out. You're not taking care of the heart that pumps your body. So there is a focus, the Virgo energy, and the Empress comes in here and she wants to give birth to things. So there is an energy here that this is speculating on to focus on. And for a lot of you, it could be you need to focus on your health and wellness. That's going to be a priority for you. To enjoy this money that's going to be. Some of you are waiting for the crypto to happen, and once you get the crypto, you're going to have to spend the money. You have to go. You're going to go to the doctors and spend all this money. Maybe that's what it's going to be. You're going to make all this money, and you're going to have to. You finally have the money to spend for your medical, to buy some devices to fix your body, to focus on that. But this is encouraging you to start doing that now. The Virgo energy. All right. So that's what I got. Let me shift into, get rid of that. Shift into some of your questions, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Jasmina says, Virgo, my sun isn't, well, I don't go by tropical, so. Sun in Pisces is very artistic. Yep. I mean, when the sun coming out here with Pisces and Pisces having the mystical Neptune, Poseidon there and Rahu there, it's just huge. And then Chiron, Chiron again, it's forcing people to focus. What are your wounds in spirituality? It's forcing you to deal with this. And I feel like when you don't deal with it, you get penalized for that. And it may come through through this or that. I don't know what that penalty would look like for you. But again, this is working with the systems for your advantages. Okay, so thanks everybody for being here. Got a good amount of people come. I'm sure it's morning time for a lot of you. Some mystics in the house. Jasmine says, sleep is not an addiction, it's a necessity. Well, it's both. I am a dork sometimes, but sleep is an addiction. I'm addicted to sleep. I do it a lot. That's an addiction to me. I look at addictions as not the typical definition of, oh, you're addicted to alcohol. I'm addicted to brushing my teeth. I'm addicted to using these things right here. These like floss things. I'm addicted to using them. Absolutely. But it's a good addiction. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, cheating is... yeah, some of you are cheating right now. And you know you're doing it. And again, I'm neutral. It's not my life. But you're doing that. And, you know, it's going to cause some chaos in your life. For some of you, it's going to cause some massive chaos. You're going to pay the price for that, and you're going to be wishing you didn't do that. Some of you may get away with it, like you have been getting away with it. There are people that get away with it, you know. Thank you, Pamela, for showing up here. Pamela Swan. I don't know which version we got. We got Pamela 4, Pamela 5. Pamela has a lot of body doubles. So Drew says, I made $8,000 off crypto today. Yeah. It's hot right now. But the thing is that, you know, are you attached to it? Like, I don't know, like, are we get excited about earning something that you could get yanked from you? Are we to get excited about that? I mean, it's cool to get excited in life, right? I'm living a life of meh. Not that I don't enjoy life, but I'm more meh. I don't know. I just like to give people, I like giving things to people. That's why I'm doing these streams and my Decode Your Reality. I just like giving to people. That's what makes me happy. Seeing other people happy. I get to live through their lives. It's a lot of fun. All right, so I think that's we're gonna wrap this thing up. Appreciate each and every one of you for showing up here. Yeah, Love Stonk says, it's definitely easier when you're not attached and can just flow. For sure. Mystic Green Summer says we should use the true sidereal. Well, I use a combination of Mastering the Zodiac and Stellarium. I've already, if you want to have confirmation, if you want confirmation on how tropical astrology fails with certain things that have happened in our world, go watch my Lionsgate Decoded. Now, again, I'm not here to say that tropical will be wrong for you. I've already said that tropical astrology, to me, is a wheel that is subordinate to the master wheel called sidereal. Like a wheel, like a dial inside of a watch. So unless you have a proper reading done, unless you look at your reading through the sidereal, the Mastering the Zodiac, don't bust it down, But the discovery of Uranus, tropical fails. Lionsgate, tropical fails. So again, it's a system of magic. Why does tropical astrology work? Because it works on magic. That's why. It works on magic. And, the reason why tropical fails when it comes to the zodiac signs is that tropical is based on a 12-house system. Every zodiac sign is not the same size. That is not my opinion. That's a fact. So to break it up into, and not everybody, some people use the Placidus, which everything gets smaller, and that's a newer system. Whole signs, and then 13 through the Mastering the Zodiac. That's my opinion. That's precision. If you're looking to get to the most precise system out there, Mastering the Zodiac and Stellarium. So you would go to using this system, this website right here, Mastering the Zodiac. The great part about this is that it's color-coded and it takes into consideration the sizes of the zodiac. For instance, how small, let's go to Cancer. Look how small Cancer is, or Gemini. Do you think this is the same size as this? It's not even close. This is the largest constellation in the sky. This is not 30 degrees. This is not working with a typical 12-house system. No way. See, Mastering the Zodiac there's the largest Virgo. See? It's the biggest. So this takes the most accurate depiction of the canopy above, and it still keeps the integrity of 12 houses divided, because this is tropical. This is your 4 seasons. This right here. Tropical astrology, ladies and gentlemen, is based on the tropics. And tropical astrology is based on the seasons. Spring, summer, fall, and winter. So, spring through tropical is Aries, Taurus, Gemini. Springtime. 3 signs make up the 4 seasons, right? So, springtime, Aries, Taurus, Gemini. Tropical. What happens during summertime? The summer solstice comes in. What is summer? Cancer, Leo, and Virgo. That represents the summertime. So that's quadrant number 2. These are the 4 fixed signs in the Bible, by the way. Ezekiel 1 verses 10. The ox, lion, eagle, man. It's talking about the 4 fixed signs. The 4 quadrants. But when you break it up in tropical, that's how tropical works. It's based on the patterns of the sun moving across the ecliptic. You move into fall time, you go from Cancer, Leo, and Virgo. Now you're done with the summer. Now you go into the quadrant 3, and now you're part of Libra, Scorpio, and you don't include Ophiuchus, Sagittarius. Scorpio, fall time. Then you go into the winter time, and now you're dealing with Pisces, Aquarius, and Capricorn. Quadrant 4. That's how tropical astrology works. Sidereal works on the true map of the stars and how the canopy is related to the positions of the celestials, not the seasons. Because in tropical astrology, it doesn't matter anything as long as it's springtime is in Aries all the time. But ladies and gentlemen, we're not in a springtime of Aries anymore. It is now in Pisces. The rising sign of March 21st is in 7 degrees of Pisces. It's no longer in Aries. Maybe it was that way 2,000 years ago, but it's not that way anymore. So now it's shifted. Now you can say the springtime is Pisces, Aries, and Taurus. And the summertime is going to be Cancer, Leo, and Virgo. Gemini, Leo, and Virgo. Gemini, Leo, and yeah. So it's shifted. So again, you're coming into a system. If you're new to this, you're coming into a system that Mastering the Zodiac and the Stellarium app, you're talking about the precision. And I've measured this. If you want support of my opinion on why tropical fails, go study Lionsgate. What is Lionsgate? August 8th. Well, it's the gate, right? Okay. Well, if you study tropical astrology, August 8th, the sun is going to be at 16 degrees in Leo. That's in the middle of Leo. That's not the gate to enter Leo. You're already in it. You've been in it halfway through. It doesn't make any sense. You go to the sidereal, the sun is just right outside of Leo in Cancer. It's about ready to go through the gate. So it doesn't match up with tropical. Neither does the discovery of Uranus. It's way off with the discovery of Uranus. And I've even measured it myself with my own phone, taking a picture of my phone, looking at the moon on June 12th of this year when it was in Leo. And everybody's, it's in Virgo. No, it's in Leo. It's right there. Moon can't be in two places at one time unless you're talking about cusp energy. That's different. So if you want support on, if you want to see how tropical astrology fails with the history in our world, even a real life situation where I showed the image of me taking a picture of the moon on June 12th of this year and showing you real footage, not the CGI and the map that you're seeing with Stellarium and Mastering the Zodiac, a real image pointed at the moon when the moon was clearly in Leo, but tropical has it in Virgo. I'm about precision, folks. Like, we got to get this. If you want precision, if you want to stick to your beliefs on, it's this and it's that, then stick with that. That's totally fine. But for me, and for a lot of the community here, you guys and gals are looking for precision. All right. Yeah, so the last thing I'll talk to you guys and gals about, because we have like Mystic Green Summer says, I was just getting the hang of my tropical, shifting to say my sun is in Aquarius versus Pisces. So again, ladies and gentlemen, when we look at, when you look at a chart, I don't care whose chart you want to look at. Yours, this is, again, the chart that was about an hour and a half ago. But this right now is the chart in action, affecting the world. When you go pull up your chart, it doesn't matter. People are used to saying, what sign are you in astrology? This is the common lingo. What's your sign? What do you mean, what's my sign? What's your sign in astrology? And you know, most people say, they'll talk about their sun. But folks, what about the moon? What about Mercury? What about Venus and Pluto and Mars and Sirius and Ketu and Rahu and Kronos and Jupiter? What about all those? See, we're not in the habit of doing that. We're in the habit of regurgitating, oh, my sun's in Scorpio. Right? That's what we're doing. Okay. And then some people say, oh, my sun's here, my moon's there. All of you, if you really want to get good at this, you should have your chart memorized. So when I say, where's your Mars at? My Mars is in Cancer. You know right off the bat. My Jupiter's in Taurus. My Uranus is in Taurus. You know right off the bat. That's how you know that you know about the astrology part of it. But all of these little slices of pie are influencing you all the time. So when you take a snapshot of, if this was your birth chart, even though you have nothing in the 6th house, even though there's no activity here, you're still being influenced by the rulers of these 2 zodiac signs. So essentially, when somebody says, what's your zodiac sign? The answer should be, I'm all of them. I am all 13 signs. And people will look at you like, what do you mean? Because they're not used to hearing this lingo. But that would be the correct answer, because every hotel, when you look at these, every single one of these, from Pisces to Aquarius, the technology merges with human beings. This is the age that we're entering, already have entered. To Capricorn and power and business and your career, to Sagittarius, to your wisdom and your higher mind. Every single one of you are going to be sitting in this hotel lobby. Every one of you sit here. This is your career. This is your wisdom and your higher mind. This is your higher ideals through the higher aspects of Scorpio, the serpent bearer. This is your Scorpio. This is your seductive side. Some of you play this a lot. Some of you love to cheat. Some of you love to just have sex with everybody, because it's the seductive side. If you have heavy energy here, and it's not just this, we all have these tendencies. All of us have symmetrical aspects. All of us care about how we look in a certain way. All of us, we need to get balanced in certain ways. Hotel Virgo, nature and health and wellness. All of us have Virgo energy to some degree. All of us have the regalness of the Hotel Leo and wanting the money and the power. All of us have the aspects of Cancer and the moon. We all were born into a family. Cancer and the family and the children and the water and the moon. We all have nurturing capabilities. We all have emotions based upon Cancer energy. We all have great ideas through Gemini. All of you have great ideas. They come from the mind of Gemini. Gemini ruled by Mercury. All of us have the aspects of Taurus and money and power and wanting to. If I asked you a question, would you rather have a lot of money or and not have any money? I know every single one of you say, I'd rather have a lot of money. If you could take one or the other, you would choose the more money. Every single one of you would. You may give it away, but I'd rather have the more money than not have enough. So this is Taurus. This is building your empire. Some of you are destined to build a huge empire, and you haven't even stepped into it yet. And then we all have this Aries energy, your identification. You walk into this hotel lobby and you're like, hey, I'm Logan. And this is what I do. And I'm fire, and I'm this and I'm that. And it's your red energy. It's your root chakra. The root chakra. We're all Aries energy because we all have Aries hotel and we all have an aspect of Mars. It doesn't matter if you don't have Mars in Aries. Like, there was nothing in Aries right now. There's nothing here, but there's Mars still influencing it no matter what. And it's being influenced heavily by the home life. So you are all of these zodiac signs, folks. Every single one of them you are a part of, and they are a part of you. Okay. Depends on, as above says, depends on what I would have to give up to have lots of money. Well, again, what would you consider lots of money? And again, it's all dependent on how you are coded as an individual. Like, what does your astrological chart look like? What are your cards in the playing cards? What is your card of illumination? What is your spirit card? These heavily influence. I can take all of your 13 cards in your spread and overlay those into astrology. That's a thing, you know, to get more detailed and more precise about how you're coded. So some of you don't give a shit about money. I get that. Some of you want to be rich. Some of you are destined to have a lot of money and be wealthy. But maybe you're just like, maybe your next door neighbor or your family, maybe they were told you, oh, you shouldn't have that because it's bad. So you got programmed with this Trojan horse of money is bad, but your destiny is to be wealthy during this incarnation. You know, as far as we know, ladies and gentlemen, this is it. This life that you got, this is it, man. It's not a practice run. This may be the last shot you got to make the life that you want manifest in your life. And we're now moving into an age of information, and nothing will be left unturned here. And you got to think outside the box, because we're moving and merging with machines, and that means that a lot of things will be replaced. And you got to start utilizing this artificial intelligence and have it be your slave instead of the other way around. Okay. Somebody says, anyone listened to the works of Chiron last? He wasn't too big on money and decided to take a homeless walk instead. Again, you know, it all depends on what your code calls for and what your intuitive self tells you to do. And again, right now, there's a heavy influence and energy on the spirituality, your mystical side of life in the house of Pisces. Rahu, Neptune, and Chiron there. So, you know, you could say Jesus was a fisher of men. Pisces is the fish, you know, and that's the axis of the Christ, being born of a virgin across the way from Pisces. So there's a heavy focus on spirituality, and a lot of people, yeah, they're abandoning the materialistic world. They're realizing that it's not what it was cracked up to be. It doesn't give me, you know, the things that I make me a better person. But then I see other people that they're designed to have a lot of money, and that's what they're supposed to be experiencing. They have to experience money in this reality. That's what their code is designed to do. So if you feel that way and you resonate with that, check your charts and you start to identify with the charts and you see, holy shit, yeah. Like my chart says I'm supposed to be doing this. There's no doubt about it. Even if somebody told me, oh, Logan, you shouldn't be doing that. Well, good thing that you haven't seen my chart. You haven't read my chart. You haven't seen my cards and my tarot cards and my numerology and my life path and my enneagram and my human design. Until you look at those, don't come near me with your opinion on what you think I should do, because I will take all the charts and everything I've been coded with well over your opinion. But you have to study the charts. And then you got to compile it together into one to figure out what the baseline is, and everything goes off of that. And that's where it's at. It's synchronizing all these systems into one. That's the magic. That's where the magic happens. Is when you take all the systems and you move them into one and you get this nucleus. And then there's no doubt about it anymore. Zero doubt of what you're supposed to be doing. A lot of you are, you know, going to save the world one day. I've said if you have kids, kids may grow up and save the world one day. I feel like, you know, these systems are coming back because we're finding out the true nature of how we're programmed. We're realizing, hey, wait a minute, I'm living in a predestined reality. Well, I want to know what I'm destined for. I mean, if you don't care, like there is this opposite where if you don't care, you're just like, okay, I'm destined to do something, I don't really care. Great, but you need to have definitions on what it is that you want to do instead of getting jerked over here and yanked over here. because we get influenced by things in this reality. Like this is influencing you. Some of you, it's influencing you. Whether you do something with it or not, that's besides the point. Some of you will take this information and you will utilize it and you will make benefits out of it. Some of you will do nothing with this. This is just going to be pure entertainment for you. That's totally fine. All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap this up. Thanks, everybody, for joining tonight. I appreciate each and every one of you. And we're gonna end it with hold on, a play here. I'll play this song right here. Why not, right? Laid Back. This is a great song from the past. And I think it's very fitting. Like I just chose, I didn't even think of that, but the final card for Pisces was the white horse. So it's very fitting, right? So again, I'm not in control of my reality. I didn't even see that until now. But anyway, there you go, white horse. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been an honor and a pleasure for being your host for Late Night Astro-Tarot. Thanks each and every one of you for all the support. Big shout out to all you Patreon members, donating Patreon members. I appreciate each and every one of you. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got for today. Until next time, we will see you later.
White horse.